Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, text 9. Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti surjana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shilpa Prabhupada. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. The descent from his transcendental abode is already explained in the 6th verse. One who can understand the truth of the appearance of the personality of Godhead is already liberated from material bondage, and therefore he returns to the kingdom of God immediately after quitting his present material body. So we just now in Caitanya Caritamrita, we were reading that for a yogi, it is so difficult, so difficult. Such long time is required. It's a very long time, so much effort and energy. But here, what is Krishna saying? He's saying you just understand the truth of my appearance. If you just can understand the truth of my appearance, you're already liberated from this material world. You already achieved the liberation. And then after you leave the body, you come to the spiritual world. Such liberation of the living entity from material bondage is not at all easy. The impersonalists and the yogis attain liberation only after much trouble and many, many births. Even then, the liberation they achieve, merging into the impersonal Brahmajyotir of the Lord, is only partial. And so why is it partial? Why? So first of all, it is difficult because it takes many, many lifetimes of practice. And then, so even if a soul reaches into the Brahmajyoti, then what happens? This liberation is still partial. Why? Because there's a risk of what? Of returning to this material world. So that's why it's called partial liberation. But the devotee, simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the body and activities of the Lord, attains the abode of the Lord after ending this body and does not run the risk of returning to this material world. So if we just simply try to understand that Krishna's body, Krishna's activities, Krishna's appearance in this material world, Krishna's pastimes, his leelas, his name, all this, if we try to understand that these are transcendental, they are not material, they are not Maya, they are not subject to the modes of goodness, passion, or ignorance, but are transcendental. What happens? We can give up this. After we give up the body, we can go back to the spiritual world and never to come back here again to this material world. In the Brahma Samhita 5.33, it is stated that the Lord has many, many forms and incarnations. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. Although there are many transcendental forms of the Lord, they are still one and the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. One has to understand this fact with conviction, although it is incomprehensible to mundane scholars and empiric philosophers. So here we are said that the Lord has many forms. He has many incarnations. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. And although all these forms are their transcendental forms, they're all transcendental. The Lord has many, many transcendental forms. Lord Nishingadev, Lord Varahadev, Matsya, Lord Ramachandra. There's so many forms. These are just very few. The Lord has unlimited, and those forms are all transcendental. And yet, they are still one and the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is what we have to understand with conviction. Although it's very difficult to understand with our mind and our with our material mind. So as stated in the Vedas, Purusha Bodhani Upanishad, Eko Devo Nitya Lilanurakto Bhakta Vyapi Hridi Antaratma. The one Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternally engaged in many, many transcendental forms in relationships with his unalloyed devotees. This Vedic version is confirmed in this verse of the Gita personally by the Lord. He who accepts this truth on the strength of the authority of the Vedas and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who does not waste time in philosophical speculations, attains the highest perfectional stage of liberation. Simply by accepting this truth on faith, one can, without a doubt, attain liberation. So here we are said, oh, we want to attain liberation, we just have to accept this. Accept? How to blindly accept? But the Vedas are confirming this. The Supreme Lord is confirming it by himself in the Bhagavad Gita. What is he saying? That there's so many of these transcendental forms, but it's all belongs to the Supreme Lord. They all belong to the Supreme Lord. And if we can understand this, that accept this truth, we can understand, we accept this truth, then then attain liberation, can attain the highest perfection, highest stage of liberation. The Vedic version, Tattvam Asi, is actually applied in this case. Anyone who understands Lord Krishna to be the Supreme, or who says unto the Lord, you are the same Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, is certainly liberated instantly, and consequently, his entrance into the transcendental association of the Lord is guaranteed. In other words, such a faithful devotee of the Lord attains perfection. So Krishna is saying, he's making the process easy for us. He's saying, don't take up the lengthy process. We have been hearing now for many days in Caitanya Caritamrita that how the yogi's process is very lengthy. It takes time. The result is the same, to go into the spiritual world. And that is if the desire of the yogi. But if his desire is just to remain in the Brahman, then yes, that is liberation, but it is partial. From there is a high possibility that we will come back to this material world. So Krishna is saying, take up this. The Vedas are declaring it. I'm declaring it. You just have to accept it. And the moment I accept it with faith, then he's saying that your liberation is guaranteed. After you give up the body, you can enter the spiritual sky. That is Krishna's word on it. And then and this is confirmed by the following Vedic assertion: Tam eva viddit vati mrityum eti nanayah panta vidyate yanaya. One can attain the perfect stage of liberation from birth and death simply by knowing the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there is no other way to achieve this perfection. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 3.8. That there is no alternative means that anyone who does not understand Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is surely in the mode of ignorance, and consequently, he will not attain salvation simply, so to speak, by licking the outer surface of the bottle of honey, or by interpreting the Bhagavad Gita according to mundane scholarship. Such empiric philosophers may assume very important roles in the material world, but they are not necessarily eligible for liberation. Such puffed up mundane scholars have to wait for the causeless mercy of the devotee of the Lord. One should therefore cultivate Krishna consciousness with faith and knowledge, and in this way attain perfection. So Krishna is giving us an easy proposal. He's saying you simply just try to understand. Try to understand that just by trying to understand that the Lord is transcendental, that this Brahman here is said, that you are the same Brahman. You are here. Anyone who says to the Lord, you are the same Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, is certainly liberated. You just stand in front of Krishna and say, Krishna, okay, I know that this Brahman which is coming, that's you. That's just the light from your body. And you are the same Supreme Lord. You are the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. That all the incarnations, all the various forms, they're all transcendental and they all belong to Krishna. We have been hearing in Srimad Bhagavatam that not only all the spiritual world belongs to Krishna, but also this material world belongs to Krishna. It's all coming from Krishna. All the living entities, we are coming from Krishna. So therefore, we should cultivate Krishna consciousness. And by cultivating Krishna consciousness, we will surely attain perfection, liberation from birth and death. Cultivate Krishna consciousness. We begin hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting about the Lord. The more we hear and the more we chant, the more we will get this knowledge. And it attracts the mercy. It attracts the mercy of the Lord.
So again, it is reassured that if we accept it, then it's again the easy way. He is always for his devotees.
Yes. Yes.
And though we all know, but then maybe we are not telling him that we accept. But he knows because he's in our heart. If we know, if we have that faith, right?
Yeah, but we can tell him also.
Okay.
We can tell it to him too. It's okay. You know, our children, they know we love them. But
right. But sometimes we forget and we know that Krishna knows and then we don't tell. Or said, oh no, he knows, no, because it's there. So but then we should tell also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
we do say, right, to our loved ones. They know it, but there's sometimes we tell them, we express our love.
Yeah.
Same.
But he's so kind, like he has given so easy ways and we are trying to complicate it. We think he's telling that just if you realize this, then you will come to me. If you accept the truth, if you realize this, if you
not even saying realize.
Yeah, not even realize, just accept
because
it.
It's difficult for us to realize.
Yeah, sorry. But even if we just accept it,
yeah,
then like if we just start telling him every day this, then that means acceptance.
Yeah.
I know this. Krishna, from Vedas, I know this. I have been reading and I'm accepting it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's so merciful.
Yes. It's true. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for introducing us to this such a kind Krishna. Really.
We need to be, we should be grateful to Srila Prabhupada, you know. We are hearing from him. It's all Prabhupada's mercy. That's his mercy. So thank you. Thank you so much for you sharing your realizations. We'll stop here for today. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.